Before you get up and go, don't let me down, 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 down. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is this is the complete opposite of anything that you find when you turn on your radio dial. We are the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 592
That's a
coming
lot
at
of
you.
episodes.
How
That
you doing this
is.
morning, Mike? I'm glad. Listen, I just want to say I'm glad to see you, Mike. Look at you, huh? Looking good, derpy. Glad you're here. I just need somebody to yell at. I got some issues, but go ahead, Mike. Tell me about you first.
No, nothing. I'm doing good.
Derpy, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. High school football's back in my area. I'm ready for it.
Yes. Yes, same here. We're getting excited, man. I got this light, Mike. We gotta get a new light. I gotta get a new light. Because I was messing with this light for about 15 minutes easy
Uh,
before we came
yeah.
on, and we could have been on 15 minutes earlier. I don't know if we got to get something figured out. It's not good.
Eh,
So I'm not
eh,
gonna I'm not gonna get in the
Eh,
mood. I'm
eh.
just a little perturbed by that
Perturbed.
because I'm over there messing with it, and then I finally get it to go. Then I get back here behind the console and it goes out. So I'd like to cut this out of my life if I can. This
Uh,
problem.
I want to keep it going because it's making me laugh.
Um, so I'm not going to go on and on. Give me another day or two, I might. But right now, we got big day today, guys. We're going to talk some Steelers. We're going to talk a little tiny bit of Pirates because it is Paul Skeens Day. We have picks today. A lot of different things going on here on the show. I do want to say welcome back.
Let's do this.
Let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
How you doing? How you doing, Derp? You all right today, man?
I'm doing great.
All
I got
right,
my
good.
coffee in. I'm ready to run through a wall.
All right, good. I got to keep you awake just in case I need to yell. All right, I'm here. Right. All right, here we go, guys.
Let's
And
do
we're
this.
off. Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. I want to start off with some Steeler talk. Russell Wilson be getting some playing time this weekend. If anybody wondered if Russell Wilson will be playing, Russell Wilson, in fact, will be playing this coming Saturday afternoon against the Detroit Lions. This was announced. Mike, we got a lot of things to talk about today regarding the Steelers. We got some things to talk about going into this week's game. But I want to start off with some Brandon Ayuk scoop. I know,
Ooh.
Let me
I
hear
know,
it.
I know.
Let
Either
me hear it.
one of two things: people were excited to hear this, or people were just out of their minds, ready to be done, and don't want to
Yeah.
hear anything about Brandon
I'm
Ayuk.
I'm
Ugh.
I'm the second part.
Which I understand entirely. Don't get me wrong. So as of yesterday, via Adam Schefter, Kyle Shanahan speaking, attempted to update the Brandon Ayuk situation. He says, "Quote: So much has happened, so much has changed. No, I'm just joking. No new updates. I'm sorry to keep being boring with that, but I wish I was saying something different. But nothing has changed as of yesterday." That's Kyle Shanahan. Also, I do have a few other things here. This is Tom. If you could help me with the name, Tom Pelissero. Tom
Yeah.
Pelissero.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Close enough.
he says on the Brandon Ayuk saga, the closer we get to the start of the regular season, and knowing that Brandon Ayuk has not been practicing this entire time, there does come a point in which the value of the trade on which they have agreed to at least a framework, as Ian Rappaport reported a week or so ago, that would potentially change. In other words, if the player is not ready to play or have full-time role in the early portion of the season, that impacts the compensation.
Yeah. So the longer this goes on, it's going to benefit the Steelers.
I see
Yes,
yesterday
sir.
Brandon Ayuk was not at 49ers practice. A lot of
Yeah.
times he goes down there and he hangs out. He was not at practice. Also, NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo said that the 49ers haven't upped their offer to Brandon Ayuk in over a week, and the trade to the Steelers is still very, very much in play. And then by words of Steeler Nation, this comes from their page. There's still hope for a Brandon Ayuk deal, keeping it roughly about 50-50 right now at this point.
Flip a coin and see which way it goes. Uh, that is the bad thing with this trade going on. As long as it going to go on for. Brandon Ayuk hasn't practiced.
Yeah,
So he's not going to be ready in game shape. And like people pointed out in the comments the other day, guys that hold out, they don't work out as much, and their body's not ready for that initial first week of getting hit. So their muscles aren't as strong as they should be. They're not in that football shape, and they still try to go out there and play. That's when you can develop the injuries.
absolutely.
So if we get a trade down, he comes in week 1, he's not going to be sharp, and if he plays, the injury rate's going to be higher.
And I would
You're
be
going to
okay
spend
with
all
that.
that money on him.
If I know that we have our receiver going down the road, I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. If he comes here in week 1, if he doesn't even dress, I would be fine
Yeah.
with that. As long as we have
I
that
would
peace of
agree.
mind, you have your guy, you have your guy. He's getting ready. He'll be ready, in the upcoming game, maybe this, whatever.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that. I'm not
Yeah, just hold him
necessarily
out
against this.
that first game, maybe even the second game. And then, like you said, that way he's ready. He'll be in better shape and at least have some more time in the offense.
Patrick Queen tells us this is from Patrick Queen on the state of the offense. He says, different concepts. There's always something new every day. I know everybody got their own perception of Arthur Smith in the offense, but I just say to hang in there. It's going to be worth the show. They got everything they need in that room. If we need something, we'll add something. If we don't, we don't. I just think that the guys that's in that room right now can take care of business. That is Patrick Queen on the Steelers offense.
2 things.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Please.
He's a defensive player. Why is he worrying about the offense? And secondly, why he didn't do a damn thing in the preseason game?
No.
Well, because he's going up against that first team offense every day in practice, every day in
But
training
that's why
camp.
we signed him, though.
So, yeah, but Derpy, what I'm saying is he's seeing what the offense can do against this defense that's supposed to be one of the better units in the game. But if he's seeing in practice that, hey, stuff's clicking, stuff's working, I like the way that the offense is moving the ball, this is a way to reassure the fan base of, hey, this side of the ball, we're not worried about the offense because we know they're going to hold up their end of the bargain. It's just going to, it's going to happen. Just, it's training camp right now.
Fair.
Yeah, so
I mean, I like the optimism of Patrick Queen. I mean, you want to hear, you don't want your starting inside linebacker saying, well, you know what that offense is.
Well, practice is easy because
struggling over there. They stink. I mean, he's saying the right things, whether he believes it or not. That is what you have to say when you're talking about your teammates. He handled that correctly. We'll find out a little bit more this weekend, guys. I'm not in full panic mode just yet. I'm really not. I mean, you're kind of going by what you see in the media. You're kind of going by what you see on social media. And I just think that, guys, I mean, we are in the preseason. As much as people keep saying that, it's so very true. We got Atlanta here in a couple of weeks. We got Bo Nix, who just got announced as the starter down in Denver yesterday. We'll see him in week 2. I think that by the time we come around to the regular season, we should be, hopefully, maybe I'm 100% wrong, but we should be able to hang in games. And as I said, our defense, you come out with your starters playing 4 quarters. Special teams certainly has been improved. And you have a lot of pieces in place on the offensive side of the ball. So maybe if one of these 2 quarterbacks can get it going, we may be in okay shape.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh, what?
We got some news. Not referring to the Steelers, but the Commanders are trading Jahan Dotson to the Eagles.
I seen that. That's all
he was a lower tier target that, Pittsburgh, if they couldn't find anyone, a former first round pick, a couple years ago, kick a low round draft pick. I think they may have got too much for him.
I'm hearing people say that, this looks like a 6-win season. I've heard a couple people say that they'll be lucky to get past 8 wins. I think as long as I said, one of these quarterbacks just has to play better than Kenny Pickett. One of these 2 guys just have to play better than Kenny Pickett, and we'll be okay. We'll gonna hang in there. We'll be able to, because again, this defense, in theory, should be very good this year. Again, I can't go on enough about these special teams, about our punter, things going on, the little things that change the course of the game. But as I said, Mike, all you need basically, and it's not that easy. Listen. All you need is somebody to play better than Kenny Pickett did last year. And I'm hoping that one of these 2 guys, either a future Hall of Famer or, this young Justin Fields, who has plenty of potential from what I'm hearing, couldn't play better than Kenny, because Kenny did have us at 7-3, 7-4 before he got injured last year.
Yeah.
All you got to do, and in the second half of the season, we'll talk about that when we get there. That second half of the season is like something I've never seen before in the NFL. But we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We have to figure out how to stack some wins early on between weeks 1 and 9. If that's the answer, you have to find ways to stack wins between 1 and 9 if you plan on there being any kind of playoff talk at the end of the season. You can't go into your 6 division games expecting to go 5-1 as we did 2 years ago. Last year, that dropped to 3-3 within the division. Also, you can't go into the last part of the season with the Eagles and the Chiefs in your schedule. There's going to be it's going to be tough. You got to stack wins. You got to stack wins early. Got to win the games that you're supposed to win, and then you'll be in the hunt at the end of the game. Mike, what do you think? Any different opinion on it?
No, that's where I am. That's where I'm at. It's all going to come down to, like you said, that quarterback play and the offensive line. Like, if they can play like they did the end of last season, all right, then it's, we can finally see what quarterback we had. Do we have Russ, who has one more year in that fountain of youth, or did he fall off? And can Fields live up to some of the hype that he had coming out of college? So it's all that offensive line for me. The defense, they were able to take care of business last year for the most part. And hopefully, if this offense can do a little bit more than last year, that's going to take a lot of pressure off that defense. And if they can play, without all the pressure of having to know they have to make every single stop, maybe they can get back to having those big aggressive splash plays caused by being aggressive, being able to pin their ears back and just go and not having to worry about giving up a field goal. Whereas last year we give up a field goal, like, fuck, man, how are we going to get this point back, let alone a touchdown? Now, if we can get the offense going and let that defense play free that we haven't seen in a long time, that's what's missing from this defense, is that knowing that, hey, the offense can hold up their end of the bargain. We're going to go out here and just be even more aggressive.
I do want to talk more about the starting quarterback here in just a moment, but let's talk about the line. Mike took us into the offensive line. I want to talk about Broderick Jones. He comes out this week and he says, with the multiple injuries, they were asking him about his multiple injuries. He says, I'm as healthy as I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Broderick Jones is as healthy as he's going to get, he believes. We know he has an elbow. I think there's other injuries involved as well. I'm not they were basically questioning him because they were saying, do you think it's the flipping you back and forth between left tackle and right tackle is that the reason for your poor play? He comes out and says, it's injuries. He said that has nothing to do with the flipping back and forth. So what's going to go down with Broderick Jones? I don't know. I'm not liking it. Chris Hoke also said this about Broderick Jones. He said he looked very uninterested out there. His technique wasn't very good and he looked soft. And those were the words from the former 2-time Super Bowl nose tackle of the Steelers, Chris Hoke. Mike, what's your take overall on Broderick Jones at this point? Is he going to be a pain in the ass the whole way through this season, do you think?
I hope not, because last year when he came in the off, once he started playing, he looked like he belonged. Like he was an every down player. And then these past 2 preseason games, he has looked lost and disinterested. And I'm wondering if it's just that elbow injury that he's having, that it's getting into his head of, okay, I'm not as strong as I normally am right now. So how am I going to be able to brace myself, angle myself to make this play? And in that same interview, he said part of it was him getting too quick of a jump off the line, getting to his spot too early, and that allowed the pass rusher to be able to set up their moves instead of him not jumping back as far.
Yeah.
So just little technique thing. So at least he knew what he was doing. You wish he would been able to correct it in game, but at least he was able to go back, look at the film with the coaches, and figure out what needs done. So this shows that the guy cares, that he knows what needs to be done. It's just, is that injury going to get into his head, and it's going to be a wasted year for him, because there's a lot riding on this team, and it's on him and that tackle position, because we saw what he can do last year.
Yeah, he kind of needs a little time. He's one of these guys that they're rusty, and he needs some time to get back to form. Let's hope that that's just the case with him. Also on the offensive line, another name that a lot of people are going to be talking about for many years, not just this week or weeks ahead, is, of course, Zach Frazier. Mike, these are our PFF numbers on Zach Frazier for week 2 against Buffalo. Zach Frazier had 24 pass block snaps. He allowed 0 pressures, Mike. To the PFF, he must be the in MVP form here in
Oh yeah.
preseason. In his pass block grade was 82.3. So according to PFF, Zach Frazier looks pretty good. Mike, where do you think the majority of the issues are going to come? I mean, we have, as you mentioned, we have these young players on the offensive line. You have a rookie who came in as your right tackle this year. He's already dealing with an injury. Your rookie that came in as your left tackle last year, he's already dealing with an
Yeah.
injury. Zach Frazier is your starting center. I mean, Herbig goes down. It is what it is. This, and as a matter of fact, this is how I wanted things to go. I wanted these guys to be put in their positions and just pushed
And
into the
play.
game.
Yeah.
But how do you think this offensive line? Because that, as you mentioned, that's a huge part of this team. That's going to be a huge part of this team's success or lack thereof. What do you think about the offensive line just in general, Mike? And some basic notes on the players.
I'm fine with the interior line of even Frazier being a rookie. I like the way he went out there and handled himself in that game last week, and the way he had no problem making all the calls on the line, getting everyone set. And I thought he played well. And you saw like how he was able to engage, get a guy to the off the line, hit his next assignment on the second level to help open up holes later in the game once they started clicking. I like the way he's playing. Ciamalo, James Daniels, I think they're one of the better guard tandems in the league.
Yeah,
James
our
Daniels
guards are going to be fine.
Yeah, Daniels more of a pass blocker. Ciamalo more of the road grader, run blocker. So I like that combination there. Then it comes down to the tackles. What are you going to get out of Fatano when he comes back? What are you going to get out of Broderick Jones? And I hate to say, but Dan Moore right now seems to be the best out of the bunch.
You know what? I'm pretty confident in Fatano. He's just one of these. He's one of these guys. I just you get a feeling when you get these guys on your team, and I get a feeling from him. I think he's going to step up, do fine.
Yeah.
Is he going to, make his rookie mistakes? Of course. Is there going to be issues? Of course. But I think you got to get him healthy, get him back in here, get him some reps because the guy only played in the first preseason game. He's those are the only downs he's ever played in the NFL. So, of course, things are going to get more difficult for the offensive line moving forward. You're going to start seeing defense get a lot more complicated. You're not going to get just these basic packages that we're seeing in week 1, 2, and 3 in the preseason. So, we got to get healthy. We got to get these guys back on the field. And as I said, Mike, I say you put them in their position, kick them in the ass, and let's do this.
Go. Yeah. That's the way that injury to Fatano kind of it sucks because this was the year we were hoping this line would have a full training camp to deal with all the new players in their new spots and just be ready to go from week 1. We haven't had that the past couple of years. 2 years ago we had guys running into each other. Last year, we were working Broderick Jones into the lineup through training camp. So the line was in flux. He also had the new center last year. So it was just a mess. And this was the year I was hoping they would have that full training camp with all the guys in their position, and one injury ruined it. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a while till this line starts clicking.
Mike, do you think it's important for the offense, the first team offense, to put any points on the board this weekend after putting 0 points through the first 2 weeks of preseason? Is it important for the team, the morale? Is it important for the fans? Is it important that the team's first team scores a point this week? I don't care if it's by toe. I don't care if it's by whatever. Just get in the range to score a point. Is that important?
I think so. Definitely for the fans. So we stop bitching about it and stop being all crazy about it because it's making me nuts that we haven't scored a point yet with this offense. And I think the players too. Just you scored, you feel good. So just for a little motivate or a little pick me up for them. They're professionals. They shouldn't need that, but they're only human. Like, hey, we can do it. We got a little bit of confidence. All right, let's go. Let's get ready for the regular season. So, I think it's more important for the fans. So we have a little less anxiety. But for the players, I don't think so. A lot of these guys have been around, especially Wilson. He's been around forever. I don't think it's going to affect him.
Speaking of Wilson, Mike, one name that most Steeler fans have forgotten about is Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson is still in the mix. Of course, he dealt with that early injury to his knee, I believe. But, we're getting pretty discouraged. This Ayuk stuff. A lot of people keep forgetting that name, Roman Wilson, where I think that he's going to be an impact player to some degree, even as a rookie coming into this season. Mike, do you know any scoop on when we may see Roman Wilson?
Um, there was a little update yesterday. It's not this week, but it's soon. So he didn't confirm anything for the regular season, but he did say, he's definitely not playing this game, but he's getting closer and closer. So wouldn't surprise me if he misses the first week, but is ready by week 2, week 3. And the sooner the better, because before he got hurt, he was one of the stars of training camp.
Staying on the offense, Mike, also Arthur Smith goes on to say, when asked about the state of his team and the state of his offense, his linemen, he goes on to say these things. We got to get out of our own way. We got to get out of our own way is one statement that he made. And the other statement that he made that I found interesting was the second statement I'm going to say. This one caught my attention. He says, quote, "That's not our standard," quote, end quote. Has there been anything in the past 3 seasons to show you that this isn't our standard, Mike?
Yeah, that's been like baseline offense. So Artie, I like that, what we've been dealing with is not up to your standards. So that's nice to see that you expect a whole hell of a lot better, because we haven't heard that from our offensive coordinator in the past 3 years. So that was a nice little breath of fresh air right there. But like you said, Ryan, yeah, our standard right now has been struggling to get 5 yards of play.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So,
I understand.
And that's what we're doing right now. So they're meeting the standards that we are used
right.
to, but not the Artie Smith standards. So I like
you want to keep up with what the team has done over the past 2 years. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Mike, I saw somebody on Facebook or somewhere, Twitter maybe. They said that Artie Smith, he looks like one of them guys that comes, a contractor. He comes and starts your house, takes couple $1,000, and then you never see him again. It's got to be the mustache, right?
It is. It's the mustache. Yeah.
And you know the guys.
Mm-hmm.
You never see him again. A year later, you see their van right next to you on the highway, and what are you going to do at that point? But also on the offense, like, I do want to talk about this over the week. This became a story, a small story, albeit it's a story. Russell Wilson, it was suggested by somebody in media, trade Russell Wilson to the Vikings, who now have issues, of course, with their starting quarterback going down for the season, and sign Ryan Tannehill, who was Arthur Smith's quarterback when Arthur Smith had his most success at offensive coordinator. Mike, even though it is just a speculation, how does that sound to you?
Oh God, no! No.
You want the guy who was proven to be successful under this offensive coordinator?
And Tannehill last year got replaced by Will Levis.
Have you seen our quarterbacks yet?
Yeah, but I've seen Ryan Tannehill play recently, and it's not pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not pretty at all. But if we're sending Russell Wilson up there, if they want to send back Jordan Addison or Justin Jefferson, yeah, we'll make that trade.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Listen, I think I don't even know what to do now. Like I said,
I'll even let Jordan Addison drive back.
You would have thought that this would have been somewhat resolved by going out and getting 2 potential starting quarterbacks. The fact that we're in the state that we're in right now, that's the most disturbing part of this whole thing to me. We're no better than we were last year, and we felt that we went out and made a couple moves that's going to help this team, when we're literally we look like we're worse than last year's team.
Yeah, the only thing giving me solace is that we looked like one of the best offenses in the league last offseason or in the preseason, and we went out and laid an egg. So I'm hoping
lay an egg now.
I'm hoping we're laying the egg now, working the kinks out, and by regular season they're good and ready to go.
They played good in preseason. They didn't play as well in regular season. If this team plays not as well as they did in preseason this year, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going off the pure the opposite thing happens.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah.
Which that isn't a guaranteed thing. We could go out and play worse than we do in the preseason.
But
Derpy, good.
I was going to say I just don't want to freak out right now, because we haven't played a game that matters yet. So once we play one of those, then if we're looking like this, oh yeah, I'll be raising all kinds of hell.
Derpy, what do you think? Do you think things are going to get turned around? And if you do, at what point do you think that things are going to get turned around? And again, it's preseason, and anybody that you'd have this conversation with, they're going to turn to you and they're going to say, calm down, it's preseason. But if you read the writing on the walls, as I said, there are a lot of things that need to be talked about with this team right now. Derpy, do you think that they are going to get things turned around? Do you think that the quarterback play is going to get to be somewhat effective? Do you think the offensive line is going to gel? Because, to be honest, this team has a potential to implode at any time under just those few things alone, in my opinion.
It'll get better. I feel that. I'm drawing a blank, but I feel like that they'll get better, but
See, I think Derpy's playing his video game.
I think so too.
And then when I call on him, he freaks
Maybe.
out a little bit. Yeah, no, I agree. I just think I think there's so much potential for things to go bad.
right.
Just from what I'm seeing. And again, yes, it's preseason. Don't bite my head off. But I see potential at the quarterback position for things to go bad. I see potential at the offensive line for things to go bad. I see a potential at the receiver position that we don't have filled for things to go bad. I mean, what I'm seeing here, guys, is showing me that there's more of a chance for things to go bad this season than to go good. At some point, we want to see a little sign of life, Mike. And like you said, I think you got to score a point in this third game of the preseason. Otherwise, you just went through all your practice games and you didn't put up a single point as an offense. Yeah. That's not a good sign. It's preseason, but again, sometimes you got to read the writing on the wall.
Yeah. Or if they don't score, just move the ball confidently up and down the field. Show some confidence, show some competency on that offensive side of the ball, and that will allay a lot of fears of the fan base. You just want to see them be able to execute. You do it in practice all the time, but you got on their game day and you can't do it. Come on now. Let's execute.
I see what you've seen so far, Mike. Who should start? Let's just say they had no more preseason games.
Yeah.
And you have 2 weeks now. You have a week off, and then you have a game against Atlanta in 2 weeks. Who do you call your starting quarterback if you are the head coach of the Steelers going into week 1?
Fields.
Okay.
Fields.
All right. I think that he performed better. I feel that the other guy is probably more mentally prepared. However, everything I'm seeing is the second guy is Justin Fields. He moves well out of the pocket. He got away from sacks. He made plays. He made throws. Did he look great? No. Does he have potential to turn over the ball? He does. However, I haven't seen anything out of Russell Wilson that makes me think that he's going to play any better than Kenny Pickett. He should be playing better than Kenny Pickett. But, guys, everything that I've seen so far, at what point is he going to step out of his shell? At what point is he going to be that guy that he was telling us he was going to be all off season as he was working out, hitting the weights, running the hill, everything he was doing? I thought, okay, this guy's going to step in and be able to play. He doesn't like Kenny. He kind of looked lost.
He did too. Yeah. He just standing there in the pocket, locking on, not, moving around the pocket at all. That was very, very concerning. And, I'm willing to risk the turnovers with Fields because there's potential for big plays with the legs and the arm with him.
I tell you what, Mike, when he takes off and starts running down the field, it's a thing of beauty.
Oh,
I seen him. I think it was like a 17 to 22 yard gain. I was rewatching the game the other night. I thought, man, if he could do this regularly and he could pick up these chunk yards, that makes up in a lot, other areas where you might be lacking. So, I would certainly love to see that. Being what we've seen so far, I would say Justin Fields would be game 1 starter, but we do have that other game this weekend against Detroit. You're going to see a good defense. We're going to see what the starting team could do. I'm sure you're probably going to see your share of both of those receivers. We do know, again, Russell Wilson did get the nod. He will be playing, but we're going to this preseason game, like this finale, it's going to tell a lot of things, I think, about this football team.
It is. And Wilson needs to look a whole hell of a lot better than what he was. He was just standing there flat-footed. It blew my mind. Even last year watching some of the Broncos stuff, he at least, would move around the pocket. This one, he was just standing there. And if he goes out there and performs adequately and gets week 1 starter, he has to be on a short hook.
Yeah.
Because there's no margin for error this year at all. We can't get behind the 8 ball.
I agree.
And I'm not going to freak out if we lose that first game because I think that Atlanta team is going to be one of the surprise teams this year. So if they knock us off, I'm not going to panic.
Let me ask you something. Now, we always talk about that lightning in the bottle. We talk about that guy. There's only so many of them. There's probably about 4 elite quarterbacks on this planet that could play in the NFL to the elite level. And we always talk about that. And it's almost like lightning in a bottle. You kind of have to be in the right place at the right time, the way we were with Ben Roethlisberger. He was, of course, one of those players.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you something. Moving forward, we might not be able to wait to get that guy out of a draft. Are we ever going to finish with 2 wins? In my life, we never have. So let me ask you this: moving forward, say there is an opportunity to get that guy. I'm going to just off the top use an example of Justin Herbert out in LA with the Chargers.
Yeah.
So you get an opportunity to get that guy. You know he's going to be one of those guys in the league. What's the most you'd be willing to give up from this Pittsburgh Steelers team to get somebody that you know is going to be your franchise quarterback? Like, would you be willing to give up your sack leading TJ Watt? Would you be willing to give up your George Pickens, your number one receiver? What would you be willing to give up, Mike, if you've seen that number one, that lightning in the bottle guy that you know that you need to be successful in this league? What would you give up from this team that we have now in order to get that guy, knowing that you have your franchise guy?
So definitely, I would give up a first round pick immediately.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Right.
I mean, this is got to remember, guys. This is your guy for the next 10 years.
Yeah, for the guy for the next 10 years, the oldest unit on my team is looking like my defense. We haven't won anything with a lot of those guys. And I would, TJ Watt would be one of the first guys that I would offer. I would be like, hey, you're approaching the tail end of your career. I have a guy in Herbig who can come in, not play at your level, but can eventually get close to it. And we have him. And we have Highsmith. I would be fine with that. I'll give you one. I'll give you TJ Watt, and I'll give you another draft pick. Let's make a trade. If make salary cap work, blah blah blah. But that's what I would offer.
I was talking to the host over at One Man's Opinion, of course, our friend Brian, who's on the show often, yesterday. We kind of had a similar conversation, and he made a great point. The quarterback touches the ball every play. Even if TJ Watt, gets 19 sacks this season, has a good season with 19 sacks, I think it's still more valuable to have that franchise quarterback. Think of a Ben Roethlisberger. Again, just the difference a player like that makes on the field, game in, game out. You're constantly in a game. No matter what the situation, I think that is so important. Like, I would give up a couple big names, and I would even consider draft picks as well, because again, that you're set for the next 10. Like with Ben, you often said to yourself, man, I can't believe there's going to be life after Ben, because he was so good. You were just so used to him being so consistently good week after week, year after year, even all the way up to the end when he was dealing with injuries. You had your guy.
Mm-hmm. And just talking to like the younger kids at work, they're like, yeah, we haven't known anything other than winning here in Pittsburgh. We don't know anything but good quarterback play. I'm like, welcome to my childhood.
You don't know Bubby Brister. You don't know Mark Malone.
We tried to talk ourselves into Kent Graham was going to be the savior of the franchise.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with having, two guys picked up off the scrap heap being our guys. I've lived through this, and these guys are much more talented than the other guys. So, yeah, but no, I would give up the farm to get my guy for the next 10 years.
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think it's not even a question.
Yeah.
I do want to address P real quick on the board. I think he called Mike a blue waffle or something. I got to see what he said here. Mike isn't very bald. He's entering the blue steel era. Almost impossible to pull off the blue steel with a fryer tie. I don't know what that means. Like, what is that all about?
I don't know.
Does that have something to do with your facial hair?
Blue steel. It's the from Zoolander, one of his looks.
So you have a look.
Yeah.
John, hey, how you doing, sir? On the board as well this morning. The last 3 years of Ben were bad. You're right. They were bad. They were bad. But to have the mind on the body of the bad quarterback at that time, it was, still better than what half of the teams were doing in the league. But I agree that they were bad those last 3 years. Mike, what do you say? His elbow was held together with what?
Duct tape and chicken wire.
Duct tape and chicken wire. How good are you going to be when your elbow's held together with duct tape and chicken wire? But again, at the end of the career, he's still better than what we've seen in the past 3 years, in my opinion. And if not, at least upstairs he was. So we need that guy. That's the answer. You have to get your quarterback in the NFL. You have to. Mike, we said this year after year. You have to have that guy. There's only a certain amount of guys that's going to win a Super Bowl. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is one of them. You may see Josh Allen. I think that he is good enough. And there's a couple other guys. But besides for that, there's a handful. There's only a handful of these guys on the planet.
Yeah.
And if you can get one, as we did for a long time, you got to do it.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think the way this team plays, I don't think we're going to be drafting in the top 10 for a while.
That's what I'm saying.
We always find a way to win. And that's what's screwing us, the team right now. We needed a couple bad years.
It's screwing the team that we never lose. The team that
I know.
that we're not bad.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, when Cowher's 3 losing seasons, we all wanted to run him out of town, and look what it led to. It's
Yeah,
led to some great drafts that set up
absolutely.
for
And
the
a Super
future.
Bowl squad. So
Yeah. So,
no two ways about that, Mike. Keynote to this, I think you got to get your guy.
yeah.
If you
Do
listen
what
to
you
the
need
show
to do.
anytime over the past 600 episodes, you'll know that I'm very, very strong on that. If you get your guy, you're going to be okay. You could agree, Mike, that Derpy, this season's probably going to be, it's going to be heart attack central like it was last year. Pull out the Tums. It's going to be a rough season. It's going to be games that are won more closely than they should have been if you have your franchise quarterback. It's going to keep it interesting, Mike. But that being said, I want to hop over to defense because I got a couple notes here. Anthony Everett, a DB that you were talking about the other day, he did
Yeah.
get released by the Steelers in a time that we need cornerbacks. Any word on that?
No, it was just a shock that he was released. I think, was he injured? Did they do an injury settlement? I can't
I think there
remember.
was an injury settlement.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that shocked me. 'Cause I don't remember him getting hurt. Must have flew under the radar. But yeah, he was one of the guys that people were saying potentially maybe playing it in that corner position, and he got hurt.
Also, Mike, I got the numbers from Corey Trice Jr., who I love. I love this guy out of the draft. He obviously got drafted a little bit later in the draft because of his he didn't yeah, he was a draft pick, but his injury dropped him down the board. Um, his numbers from preseason look like this. Corey Trice Jr., guys, 47 snaps, 2 catches allowed, 4 receiving yards allowed, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 run stuff as a in action so far in the preseason. You got to like, again, it's preseason only. You can't say that enough, but you got to like those numbers that you're hearing from Corey Trice.
Oh yeah, and he's doing well in coverage. You know, not afraid to get in there and lay the wood. He could be a nice diamond in the rough. Too bad he can't play the slot. He's an outside guy, but nice guy to have on your team. And oh, if he was just like, 5 inches shorter, he'd be the perfect nickelback.
Yeah. It's going to be makeshift this year. We're going to be plugging pieces here and there. And it's just one injury. You're always one injury away from getting a lot more playing time. So, somebody goes down. Corey Trice could certainly be in the running. I like to see the production that he's putting up in preseason. You want to see them numbers again. I do know it's preseason. If anybody tells me that one more time, but you do like
But
to
that's
see
what you're looking for from guys of what he's
right.
going through, battling for a roster spot. That's what you want to see.
Absolutely.
4-ton smoothie with Milox chaser right before kickoff.
That's about it, Mike. Speaking of kickoff, they are talking about, are they going to tweak the kickoff rule?
Right.
I'm not a fan. I thought that I was going to be a fan, but after the UFL changed back to the normal kickoff and left the NFL with the new dynamic kickoff, I'm out. You see what I'm saying? They basically, they look how cool this is. The NFL tries it and then they back out. They go to regular kickoff. It's fun. It's interesting in the preseason, but you get to regular season. I want to see regular kickoffs back.
I want this. I want this. I like it.
You like the action?
I like the action. I'm tired of, Boswell is going to kick it through the uprights on the kickoff. Right. No, I want some action, baby.
Don't get me wrong. Ain't I the guy that constantly complains that there is no action on kickoff?
Yeah. No, you get the action. You're like, that's not what I wanted. You're like that kid, like, I want it. You get it, like, that sucks.
That's exactly me. Derpy, are you in favor or are you against this dynamic kickoff? A lot of different opinions.
It. I like my olden days kickoff.
And don't get me wrong, I would get used to it. If they decided to stick with it, I would get used to it.
Yeah, just stick with it, man.
Maybe that's
like people aren't going to stop watching because of the dynamic kickoff.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It's just boring to me. More boring than the original.
There is. It's something. There's something boring about it. I don't know what it is. It's everyone just kind of standing around. The ball goes up. You have to wait till it hits. I don't know. Like I said, I'll get used to it. If that becomes the way of the league, I will get used to it. I promise. But it might take me a little while. Mike, we have to get into these picks because we have a game tonight. We have multiple games tonight. We have multiple games tomorrow night in the NFL. Wrapping up this final week of the preseason. There's a lot of football. As a matter of fact, it goes from Thursday all the way to Sunday this week, guys. So there are going to be football games the whole way through the weekend, starting tonight. And we do have to get these picks in, Derpy. As we mentioned the other day, you are playing for Permani Brothers, the competition that we do every year here between Mike and Derpy. And it's going to break down like this in case I confused you the other day. If so say there's 18 weeks. Say Mike wins 11 of the weeks and Derpy wins 7.
7.
That would be the difference. So those the four that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, that number times 10 would be what you would win. So if you would win 11 weeks, Mike, Derpy would win 7, you would win a $40 Permani gift certificate. That's the way it's going to go down. We sweetened up the deal a little bit because usually it's just bragging rights, but now there's something a little bit more to play for. And as I said, guys, we have mad games this week. So let's hop right into it. First game of the week is 8 o'clock tonight. This is between the Colts and the Bengals. Mike, I'm going to start with you on this one. It's at Cincinnati. Colts, Bengals. Who do you like?
Give me the Colts, baby.
All right, Derpy, Colts, Bengals at Cincy tonight.
This is our Colts. This is our team. Give me the Colts.
All right. I'm going to hop to you, Derpy. What I'm going to do is go back and forth. Whoever, for example, Derpy, you will go first this time. Second game tonight starts at 8:20. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Derpy, who do you like in this game? 8:20 tonight, Bears at Chiefs.
Ooh. Give me the Bears.
All right, Mike, over to you. Bears at Chiefs tonight, 8:20.
I'm taking the Chiefs, man. Their starters have been playing a lot this preseason, and there's talk that it's not going to stop. So I think they're going to play at least a quarter, maybe even more. So I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs, baby.
So if you don't get your football filled tonight, hey, you can always turn it back on tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mike, the first game on Friday is a 7 o'clock start, is between the Jacksonville Jaguars at our week 1 opponent, Atlanta Falcons. Mike, Jaguars, Falcons.
I'm going to go with the Falcons.
All right. Derpy, same question for you. Jaguars, or the Falcons?
Give me the Falcons.
All right. Mike, I'm on another board because I have the schedule up. So if you can man the board to see if anybody makes comments as well as we go along with the scores, feel free to comment toward them. All right. So Derpy, this comes back to you. The second game tomorrow is at 7:30. This is between the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. They're not even leaving the state of Florida. Derpy, Dolphins at Buccaneers.
Give me the Dolphins.
Mike, same question to you. This game between two Floridian football teams, Dolphins at Buccaneers.
Let's go with the Dolphins.
All right.
And I don't have the bubble gut, Steeler Freak. I don't have it right now.
The bubble guts is Mike's middle name. What am I missing? What am I missing over there?
They're talking about
I thought you were going to keep me updated.
Steeler Freak he said he has some weed called The Walking Dead set aside for you. He said your ADD ass will lock up for a few hours. He's like, I took 2 hits a few years ago. I legit had to sit the fuck down.
I'm in. I am in. I do have some notes and news about weed a little bit later in this show. Mike, I hope you do a better job of keeping me updated, but here we go. We're going to move on. Guys, this is the 10 o'clock game tomorrow. There is a 10 o'clock game. This game is out in John's area. The 49ers at the Las Vegas Raiders. 10 o'clock tomorrow. Derpy. Mike, who do you like in this one? 49ers at the Raiders.
Raiders.
And Derpy, 49ers at the Raiders tomorrow, 10 o'clock p.m.
Give me the 49ers.
All right. We're cracking into Saturday's games, guys. Of course, that's when the Steelers play. 1 o'clock. Here we go. Vikings at Eagles. Derpy.
Vikings at Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
Oh, come on. You can't go with Kenny. Can't go wrong with Kenny Pickett. Mike, over to you. Vikings at the Eagles. Saturday at 1.
I'm going to go with the Vikings.
All right. I'm going to start with you on this one, Mike. The next game, 1 o'clock, also on Saturday. Ravens at the Packers. Ravens at the Packers, Mike.
I'm going to go with the Packers.
All right. Derpy, Ravens at the Packers.
Give me the high sticky cheese, the Packers.
All right. Interesting. Next game, Rams at the Texans, Derpy. The Rams at the Texans.
Give me the Texans.
Mike, Rams at Texans.
I'm gonna go with the Rams.
All right. Also 1 o'clock on Saturday, the Carolina Panthers at Buffalo to play the Bills. Mike.
Buffalo Bills.
Derpy, Panthers at Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
All right. Now we're gonna jump into the 4 o'clock games. The Chargers at the Cowboys. Derpy, the Chargers at the Cowboys. Them boys saying it's their season, it's their year. Again.
It's always their year.
Derpy, Chargers at Cowboys.
Give me the Chargers.
Mike, you know what to do?
How about them boys?
All right. All right, guys. 7:30 on Saturday. The Giants at the Jets. Two teams that we play back to back this year. Two teams that are from New York. Two teams that don't even play in New York. The Giants and the Jets. Saturday, 7:30. Mike, who do you like?
Who was it again? Oh, sorry, I was watching the board.
Giants and the Jets.
Give me Aaron Rodgers, baby.
Derpy, Giants, Jets. I'm gonna have to put Derpy on board patrol. You're awfully distracted.
Give me the Jets.
All
He
right.
was like, legs took a 20-minute Windows update break on me.
See, now that's the way to run the system, Mike. Good job. Next question, guys. We got 5 games left. Here we go. This one is a 10 o'clock game on Saturday night. The Browns at the Seahawks. Mike, Browns at the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Derpy?
Give me the Seahawks because nobody likes the mistake by the Lakes.
All right, I couldn't agree more. 2 o'clock on Sunday, 2 o'clock p.m. The first game on Sunday. Titans at the Saints. Titans at Saints. Derpy.
Give me the Titans.
All right, Mike. Titans at Saints.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Titans, baby. Mason Rudolph for the win.
All right, 3 games left, guys. 4:30 on Sunday. The Arizona Cardinals at the Denver Broncos. Mike, Arizona Cardinals at the Denver Broncos.
Cardinals.
Derpy.
Give me the Cardinals.
All right. 8 o'clock Sunday night, last game of the week to wrap up NFL preseason is the Patriots at the Commanders. Mike, Patriots at the Commanders.
Oh God, Commanders.
Boy, them two bad teams, huh?
They are.
God, I think the Commanders. I think they might win 5 games this year.
Derpy, who do you like?
Give me the Commanders.
All right, guys. And then, of course, we have to go back to the most important game of the week, the Steelers at the Lions. I'm going to start with you, Derpy. Who do you like in this game?
I'm going to go with your Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Mike.
Detroit Lions.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. I should have said it, but there it is. Guys, I need a final score pick from you guys in case there is a tie. Derpy, pick a score, whatever you think it is. We're going to add the 2 numbers together to find a sum, and that is going to be your tiebreaker number. What do you think the score of this football game between the Steelers and Detroit Lions in Detroit is going to be on Saturday?
21-7.
21-7 for a total of 28 points. Mike, what's your pick? What's your tiebreaker score?
17-7.
17-7 for a total of 24 points. So there you go. We're set, guys. We will hit this Monday morning because the last game is Sunday night. We'll make sure to get this all figured out and announce the winners because, again, this year there is things we are playing for. Let me see. I got to get caught up here myself, Mike. Okay, so the bubble guts.
Yep.
That's about the last thing where we were out on the board, correct? Bubble guts, or is
Bubble
there more?
guts. Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm caught up. I'm back in.
KC is taking that 3-peat seriously. They wouldn't be the first to do it.
Okay, here we go. Now we're uploading.
Yeah.
Okay, downloading. I'm sorry. All right, guys. So we are set on our picks. We do have NFL games tonight. We have a couple of them. Mike, I do have to jump into the Pirates only because, well, not only it's still Pirates season, so I have to make sure we talk briefly. But it is Paul Skeens Day, so nonetheless, with Paul Skeens playing tonight, we're going to talk briefly about them. The Pirates are coming into this series. They start a 4-game series against the Cincinnati Reds at home, and then next week they go to or I'm sorry, they play the Cincinnati Reds at home for 4, and then the Cubs come to town after that. So you got the Reds for 4, the Cubs for 3. I think they go somewhere. I think they play Cleveland even at the end of the month here. They're coming right now. They're 59 and 67. This is where they look. This is where they sit in the division. Milwaukee's in first place. St. Louis is 11 games out in second place. 11 games out. Chicago Cubs and Cincinnati Reds, the 2 next teams that the Pirates play, they both sit 11 and a half games out. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, as we speak, sit in the basement 14 games out. And guess what? That number that was looking not too bad with the wild card on the line a couple weeks ago, it is now at 8. They're 8 games out of the wild card, 14 games out in the division.
We were a half game out at one point.
We were in at one point.
Yeah, we were in. Excuse me. Yeah, now we're 8 back, 13 out of the division. Oh, life comes at you fast.
What a mess.
Do I dare say it?
Say it, Derpy.
Derpy, go ahead.
That's why you play 162.
In the it's if we were playing Jeopardy, what would the question be for that, Mike? What happens to the Pirates? I don't know.
I don't know. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What would Derpy say?
What would Derpy say? That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Mike, the other day, the Indianapolis Indians are minor league team, the Pirates. Check out this lineup that they threw out on the field for the Indianapolis Indians the other day. Tell me if any of these names are familiar to you, Mike. Their lineup was this: second base, start leading off, Nicky Gonzalez. Batting second, DH, Josh Palacios. Center field is that York that we just brought in on the trade.
Yeah.
Batting fourth and cleanup, catcher, Henry Davis. The fifth batter, I'm not real sure who he is. His last name is Cook. Third baseman, Nunez. Shortstop, Peguero. Right fielder, Olivares. Left fielder, Jack Sawinski. Mike, this is a Pirates lineup.
Yeah.
So is that good for them or bad for the Pirates? I mean,
oh my God,
Mike, everybody in this lineup is a Pirate this year.
Yeah. And Davis, he's down there because he needs a lot of work in with the concussions. Nicky G, he should be up. He should be healthy enough to play. Why isn't he in the majors?
He's going to be up. He's. I think
this might be one of his last tune-up games. But yeah, a lot of these guys were major leaguers, like everyday players for some of them.
In pitching,
oh my Lord!
Oh, in the top it off, Mike, the pitcher in that game was Jared Jones. Oh, by the way, Jack Sawinski's batting 9th in AAA.
Yeah.
So when he was batting 9th in Pittsburgh, you accepted it. But when you're in the minors and they have you batting 9th,
yeah, and you're supposed to be a power guy.
Oof. That's a problem.
Yeah, he was batting like 144, I think it was, or 114, something atrocious like that down there. It's like, oh my God, he can't even hit AAA hitting.
Yeah. I do know this, that Jared Jones, Mike, in that game, he went 5 innings. He gave up 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts, which matches his, yes, Brian, absolutely, matches his season high, 10 strikeouts on the season. We will be seeing Jones come back up shortly, along with Nicky G. We know these guys are working their way back up, just a matter of when. I do have the next 4 guys for the next 4 games, all 4 games of this Cincinnati series starting tonight. And none of them are Jared Jones. Tonight, Paul Skeens back at it on the hill. Bailey Falter tomorrow. Woodward on Saturday. And Ortiz on Sunday. So that's what your Pirates look like going into the weekend. Again, tonight, 6:40, game 1 of 4 against the Reds at home. Paul Skeens against Nick Lodolo. Lodolo's coming in with a 9-5, a poor 4.55, and 113 strikeouts on the season. Paul Skeens coming into the game with a 7-2 record, a 2.30 ERA, and 121 strikeouts on the season. Just to cover the last 2 days, the Pirates lost last night, bottom of the 9th inning. David Bednar comes in 0-0, bottom of the 9th, gives up 3 hits, and allows the Rangers to win 1-0. Another blown save for Bednar. And the night before that, we shut the Rangers out 4-0 on a gem thrown by Mitch Keller. He comes, throws 7 innings, gives up 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, no earned runs, no walks, helped out by Chapman. As far as the hitting goes, nobody's doing great. Cruz got a couple hits last night, the night before. I'm sorry, 2 nights ago, Cruz got 2 hits last night. Reynolds and Grandel both got 2 hits. So
Reynolds.
That
are we allowed to boo?
that is the
Bednar
scoop
now?
on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mike, why don't you give us the scoop on, please?
Yeah, or
Please do.
yeah. Do we have to ask Rowdy Tellez if we're allowed to boo Bednar now? That's what I want to know. The Two Dumb Yinzers, go over there, check it out, everyone. Got the blog up there. We got the merch store. We got links to all of our social media all over at the2dumbYinzers.com.
I got to tell you this: the Pirates out hit the Rangers. They had 8 hits against 6 yesterday. The day before, they had 7 hits against the Rangers, 3. The Rangers aren't that good, albeit they did win the World Series. They are only sitting at 59 and 69. So that gives you an idea of why we might have played semi-well against this team. All right, guys, it is time for the trivia of the day. This is the last. No, we got one more. We got more Detroit trivia, but this is Detroit Lions trivia. To the Steelers play on Saturday. The way we do it here is whoever the Steelers play, we do trivia on that team throughout that week. So here's a question of the day. Mike, Derpy, guys on the board, people at home, this is your Detroit Lions trivia question of the day. Here we go. Which former Steelers quarterback, after traded by Detroit, is to blame for putting a curse on the Lions? Which former Steelers quarterback, after being traded by Detroit to the Steelers, is to blame for putting a curse on the Lions? Go ahead and think that over. We're live right here, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, right here on YouTube. Check us out. All right. Let's start with you, Mike. Which former Steelers quarterback, after traded to the Steelers by Detroit, is to blame for putting a curse on the Detroit Lions?
Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. Mike's locked in on Charlie Batch. Dorpy, I'm going to ask you the same question. Which former Steelers quarterback, after being traded by Detroit to the Steelers, is to blame for putting a curse on the Lions?
Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch. All right. 2 Charlie Batch. Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Derpy got him down for Charlie Batch. I'll give the guys on the board a minute. P says Batch as well. I'll give them a moment to get their answers in if they want to. All right. So the important part of this question is the Lions stunk a lot longer than we are thinking. I think if they would have just put the curse on them when Charlie Batch was playing, it might be.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Bobby Lane?
Bobby Lane, guys.
Wow.
Former Steelers quarterback, after traded by Detroit, is to blame for putting a curse on the Lions. That's right. Back in the 1950s, it was, in fact, Bobby Lane. This is a well-known thing. I mean, people in Detroit still curse Bobby Lane because of this.
I never heard of that. But once you said way back when, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, if they haven't been terrible forever, Charlie Batch would have been a good number or a good pick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, here's the bad part. I didn't know Bobby Lane played for the Steelers. I only knew him as a Detroit. Yeah, I only knew him as a Lions quarterback. You learn something new every day.
There you go. All right, guys. We're down to a couple minutes for the day. Anything, Mike, you have anything before we get ready to wrap up?
I do. For us Gen Xers out there, us people who liked grunge growing up. Happy birthday, Lane Staley, R.I.P. One of the greatest vocalists of all time.
Derpy?
Best of luck to all the area teams for high school football.
Absolutely. Tomorrow we're kicking off season 0 here in Western Pennsylvania. High school getting ready to kick off. P. Batch was and still is an awesome guy. He does all the broadcasting right now in the preseason with Bob Pompiani. But Charlie Batch never really left the organization. I think that they love him. He loves it up there. He's from Steel Valley, so it's no surprise. I think Charlie Batch is going to be around for a long time around this Steelers team. I do have a couple of things here, guys. My first one, as somebody mentioned, P, I think on the board mentioned marijuana earlier. Mike, $12 million in sales after 5 days of legal recreational weed in Ohio. $12 million
Yep.
was made over the past 5 days, or whenever the first 5 days were. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that sounds about right. When I went and got mine, it was busy.
Was it
Like
really?
this, oh yeah, like there's only one real close to us, so everyone was there. Like, oh hey, I know you. I
Yeah.
remember when we bought from so and so down the street.
I remember when we used to buy nickel bags. It was full of seeds.
Yeah,
So that is that, Mike. 12 million in sales in Ohio this past weekend. I
Yeah.
think it just became legal, right?
yeah. I believe it was on the 6th is when stuff started happening. Yeah.
All right. My a couple other things I do have. Also, Mike, the daughter of Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise, is dropped off at school. Now she does go to Carnegie Mellon right in downtown Pittsburgh. She was dropped off by Katie Holmes to start the school year. Unfortunately, at Carnegie Mellon just yesterday, a naked stranger tries to sexually assault CMU students. So Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise, they might be coming back to pick up their daughter a lot sooner than they wanted to, Mike.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny, but like you can picture Tom Cruise flying in, like thinking he's Maverick or thinking
Right.
he's in Mission Impossible, coming flying through, coming down the little rope and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Tom Cruise is about the all 4 foot nothing of Tom Cruise is ready to fuck some people up.
Well,
And
doesn't
he
have
did that movie Jack Reacher here. He knows how to get around town. So
he
this
doesn't
dude,
have
this
Goose though.
weirdo's
That's his
fucked.
problem. He needs Goose, Mike, if he's
He
going
needs
to.
to. Well, he shouldn't have fucking killed Goose.
He shouldn't have. What do you do? Popped out
They-
of the seat right into the right into the cockpit. Correct. What's that called? Whenever you pop out of your seat, if you're a pilot, what is that?
He ejected,
Yeah.
hit into the canopy.
Yes.
He was later absolved of all wrongdoing, but if he wasn't hot dogging it up there, fucking Goose would still be alive.
That's right. A couple other things here. Finally, okay, 2 more things. Sorry.
Oh my god.
I seen a commercial that said teachers needed, no degree required. Will
What?
train perm or from temp to perm.
What?
So you don't need an education to be a teacher. This is where we're at in society right now.
Like all these teachers now who have master's degrees, fuck you.
Yeah, right.
No
And-
wonder, no wonder the good teachers are quitting.
Yeah, I mean, it's something's weird. It's going on in this world. I have no explanation, but this goes along in with everything that we're seeing. Surprise, surprise! You don't have to get a degree to be a teacher. Mike and I also one other thing that I do want to point out on October 28th. It is the next sports equinox. It's Monday, October 28th. That is the next time that there'll be a game played from all 4 of our major sports here in the United States. The football game is the Steelers at the Giants.
Oh yeah, baby.
Baseball, World Series Game 3. The NHL, they have a bunch of games, none of them are the Penguins. And the NBA also has a bunch of games that day. So if you are into watching all 4 of our major sports here, we have the next day will be October 28th that you could do that. And again, that is a Steelers Giants game day.
I like that sports equinox. I'd never
Sports
heard
equinox.
that. I'm learning a lot this episode.
You are Grasshopper.
I am.
Anything else, guys?
I got nothing else, man.
Derpy?
I got nothing else either.
I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us, checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really certainly do. We wouldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. I also want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. and you guys are always appreciated. Mike Derpy, if there's nothing else, that is going to be key for us to wrap it up for the day.
Oh, yeah. Have a good one, everyone. Have a great day.
Derpy?
I got nothing. Have a great day.
My man. All right, everybody. For Derpy, for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dumb Yinzers, everybody have a great day. Buccos start a 4-game series today against the Reds. Tomorrow we'll be back to talk about that and the Steelers getting ready to go into the last preseason game before the season kicks off. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow, Friday. Regular time. We will be back for Derpy, Mike, myself. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.